What's up, guys? Welcome to the Low Kick MMA UFC Fight Night Blaydes vs Volkov preview show. I'm your host, Ryan Galloway, and joining me as usual is Low Kick MMA site manager Jordan Ellis. What's going on, Jordan?
I'm good. How are you? How are you, mate?
I'm good. I feel like we just done this a second ago because we did have some technical issues. But that's all right. We'll rally on. Good event this weekend. Like I was saying before, this is one of those events that is just good enough to keep us going into the big next month we're going to have with all the Fight Island stuff. Obviously, that's what everyone's looking forward to. That's where all the big fights are at. But this is definitely not a bad card by any means. It's got a solid main event, and there's a lot of big fighters on the card as well. So I'll just get your opinions on the card in general first.
Yeah, it's a great card. Obviously, with last week there was complaints, and understandably so, it weren't the strongest card or the strongest main event. But this is, a classic UFC Fight Night. It's a really top fight at the top of the card, and then under that you've got Emmett Burgos, which is a bit of a brawl, and then there's loads of good fights, highly competitive fights on the undercard as well. So this will help us. It'll just ease us into, Fight Island and everything that's coming there. It's not a monster card by any stretch of the imagination, but for us UFC fans and us MMA fans, it's enough to keep us ticking over.
So obviously in the main event of the evening, we got a heavyweight matchup between two ranked contenders, Curtis Blaydes and Alexander Volkov. Big matchup in the division. Obviously the winner of this is going to be pretty close to a title shot. There's a few people that have to line up behind, but obviously there's title contention on the line in this one. Blaydes coming off that win over JDS looked fantastic. His striking looked really crisp. I was really impressed with his striking because obviously he has the wrestling base. He can go to the wrestling, he can hold people down, or he can take them down and beat them up. But the way he looked when he was fighting JDS, I thought it was fantastic. That was one of the best performances I've seen by Blaydes. And Volkov, on the other hand, he had that loss to Derek Lewis right near the end of the fight, which he pretty much won the whole fight. He had that win against Greg Hardy recently. Not much to take from that, though. They're both good fighters. I think Volkov's probably the more technical striker, but Blaydes has the power. So I'm very interested in this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, I do pick Blaydes in this one. I think he's kind of one of them guys who's he's on an ascension to title shots, and he's right there, and he seems determined and dogged, and he's improving all the time. But then every so often he just runs into Francis Ngannou, and that's not anyone's ideal fight. So I am picking him. He's got everything he takes to win this. I think he'll dominate with the wrestling, and he'll get it done that way, and then he's always a threat on the feet, and as anyone is, even though he's not a striker, when you're a 260-pound guy throwing hands, things might happen. In terms of Volkov, when he beat Reneau, I was fully on his train. I thought this is the next heavyweight champ we're looking at right now. He absolutely pieced him up and finished him, which was impressive. But then, as we've seen against Derek Lewis, the fact that he is a bit, he hasn't got the most power is an issue, and you'll see that when you can't finish the fight, a guy a heavyweight has always got a chance to get you in the last final, few seconds, and that's an issue. And then he come back against Greg Hardy, and I don't think he looked good at all. I think he looked, hesitant and a bit wary of the power that Hardy had. And Hardy's a novice. UFC might like to put him in on the main card, but he's not even worth being in the UFC. He's not that type of talent. So that's an issue as well for Volkov. I am a bit worried about how the knockout losses affected them, and just as long as Blaydes is in this fight, he's got a chance of winning. He can be losing 4 rounds, getting picked apart, and then he could just drag the fight to the floor and finish. So I am picking Blaydes. I think he is a potential future champion. Don't want to big him up too much because there is monsters at the top there, but he's got everything it takes to be a champion. He just needs to put it all together and beat guys like Volkov and go on to big things.
Like you touched off, there's one big problem with his game, and its name's Francis. That's the only problem with him.
Yeah.
His skill set's fantastic. His wrestling's top notch. His striking's getting way better. He's looking so much better on the feet. He just can't get over that hurdle that's Francis Ngannou. But I think he beats everyone else in the division, below Francis. I think there's no one else that's a contender. I think he wins this fight. I think it's still a good fight. There's still a chance for Volkov to win. Obviously, he pieces people up on the feet. If he attacks the legs early and reduces the mobility of Blaydes and can keep distance, if he can work the range, if he can keep himself away and throw kicks and jabs and keep him away, I think that's his route to winning. I think his route to winning is to outpoint Blaydes. I can't see him finishing Blaydes. I just don't think he carries the power that Ngannou carries. I don't think he's going to smash him like that. So I think this is definitely more winnable for Blaydes, but it's definitely it's a fair fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight, and it's Volkov's chance to go out and re-establish himself as a top contender. If he beats someone like Blaydes, he's back in the mix. So I do think in terms of Blaydes, you're gonna see Ngannou go on and he's gonna beat everyone. I think he is anyway, and them losses won't look as bad. But then it's one of them things, because he doesn't have the power to finish anyone. Blaydes is just always going to be on him. Like, he's not going to be too worried about rushing in and taking a shot like he should have been against Ngannou. He's just going to run in and I'll eat a little uppercut from Volkov. I'll grab his legs, I'll take him to the floor, and it is an issue when you are a more of a technical striker at heavyweight, because that means the fight goes longer and you give your opponent more chance to land something big, and it only takes one at heavyweight. So. But it's a great main event. We complained about it last week, not being a great main event. This is a true fight night main event. It's two top guys. Underneath that, there's another two top guys. So it's a great card.
For sure. In the co-main event of the night, we have Josh Emmett versus Shane Burgos, two ranked featherweights, both in the top 10. Both guys that are going to be looking to have that big victory that's going to put them in the title conversation, And I think this is definitely going to be fight of the night, because both guys are going to go out there and want to scrap. Emmett's got crazy power. If he lands that big right hand, you're going out. Don't care who you are, you're going to sleep. But I think Burgos is a bit faster and a bit more technical, and I think that's what's going to get him the victory in this one. So I'm probably going to take Shane Burgos in this one. What do you think?
No, I'm going the opposite. I do think it's going to be fight tonight, but I am picking Emmett in this one. I think he's got that power. He's got some of the scariest power you're going to see in all of MMA. So he's got crazy one-punch knockout power. It's all he needs. Speaking to him the other day, he seemed confident just because Shane Burgos, he's going to come forward, and that just makes for a fun fight. That just makes for an easy target. He doesn't have to chase someone and catch someone in the end. So he's gonna run into a big punch, and I don't pick anyone in the featherweight division to maybe stand up to that. Maybe Max Holloway's a tough guy, but besides that, I don't see anyone standing up to it. Also, the fact that Emmett, he has beat better guys than Burgos, and Burgos has not beat anyone on the level of Emmett. His loss was to Calvin Guitar, who's on that level, but his wins are, I think his best wins Cub Swanson, but Cub Swanson recently, he's not in his prime. So yeah, I'm picking Emmett. I'm picking for the KO. I think you might see these guys get fight tonight, and then you also might see Emmett get performance of the night as well. So it could be a big money night for him, and I think he can go on and he can challenge all the top guys after this. I think it's a bit unfortunate. He had that loss to Stevens, and it was a bit, the knockout was a bit behind the ear and things like that. So it's not clear cut. There's only losses, just that you still got an asterisk round it. I'm pretty certain that's the pick I'm going with anyway. Emmett, I think he's a really good fighter. I can't wait to watch him.
I mean, they're both great fighters, and I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. Definitely fight of the night, in my opinion, in this early prediction here. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to take Burgos in that one. But we'll move down the card, and before that, we have a women's bantamweight matchup between Raquel Pennington and Marion Renault, I believe that's how you say it. Matchup between two ranked women's bantamweight fighters. To be honest, there's not a lot about this matchup that really sells it to me. Pennington's last performance really put me off. It was not fun to watch. That was she faced home, right? That was her last fight?
I think she's had the win since then.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think she might have had it.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. But that home fight really put me off her because I just thought I expected so much more for her in that fight, and she come out there and just pushed her against the cage, and that was the whole fight. It was just a lot of cage pressing, So aside from that, I think in this matchup, I think she does win this matchup. I think Pennington's going to take this one out. And I think it's going to be due to one factor, and that's because I don't think Reneau has the takedown defense to stop Pennington taking her down. So I think we're going to see Pennington take her down and hold her down, and I don't think she finds a finish. I think it will be a decision for Pennington. On the feet, Reneau is a better striker. Reneau is the better striker. There's no debate there. But I don't think she can stop the takedown. What do you think?
I agree. I am picking Pennington. I think... Her record's a funny one, but she's got some massive wins over she beat Ariane Aldana not long ago, and I've been raving about her non-stop. So she's one of them people. On a day, she's amazing, but she has to be so fired up because it's all about like being a dog and just being tough and getting in there and just wanting it more and outworking people. And against home, she just didn't seem to have it. And I think when it's not there, it's very clear that it's not there, and then things like that happen. You get a dud fight and things. Yeah, so I am picking her. I hope she can find that fire, because she might just, she's had a title shot, she's come up short, and she might just be a bit disillusioned with where she's going or what she's doing right now. So yeah, I am picking her. She is facing like someone who's 42 off the back of 2 losses, so
yeah,
it's a fight you should be winning. Like, and if she doesn't win, I'm sure she'd be thinking about her own future, because she's young enough and she should be like trying to get another title shot. And if you're losing to 42-year-olds on the back of 2 losses, like where are you going from there? Then you're really gonna be disillusioned. So I am picking her. Probably a decision as well. She's not the biggest puncher, but she is a tough girl, and I expect her to dominate the fight.
For sure, I agree 100%. I think that Pennington takes this by decision, and I think it'll be due to her wrestling. I don't think on the feet she can get it done, and it's definitely a winnable fight. This is definitely an opponent that, like you said, she should win this. If she's not winning this, she needs to reevaluate what she's doing. But anything can happen. It's MMA. Moving down the card, we've got welterweight bout between Belal Muhammad and Lyman Good, and in this one, that's former champion, a Bellator champion, Lyman Good. Had that loss to Ben Askren and lost that belt, then come to the UFC. I believe he's had a couple of losses in the UFC from memory. So I think the reason I bring up the Askren fight is because obviously Belal Muhammad's going to want to shoot. He's going to want to try and find the takedown, and I don't know how good Lyman Good's takedown defense is. I don't think his takedown defense is good enough to stop Belal Muhammad. Similar to the last fight I was talking about, I think the biggest factor is going to be the wrestling. I think that Muhammad's just too good a wrestler for Lyman Good to stop it. Yeah, what do you think?
The main thing for me going into this fight is he's just getting over coronavirus. So I think Lyman Good, that's it. Just so strange how he's popped back so quick and he's just back in. And like, what's the safety measures around that type of thing? Like, I know some media have been very like anti-UFC holding fights right now, and then you've got someone coming in who's had coronavirus, and just interested to see how all that stuff plays out. But in terms of the actual fight, I do like Lyman Good. I think he lost to Damian Maia. He got tapped, which is, things happen, like Damian Maia. But then if that's a trend where he's lost to Ben Askren as well, and when there's a clear route to victory for someone, and Muhammad's obviously seeing that's how I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to out wrestle him. That is a worry, and he needs to be improving on that. But he's such a big guy, which could help him. Like I've said before when we spoke, that the wrestling, being big can help. Like, it can help you just shrug people off, no matter, like, even if you haven't got the technique or the ability. If you're so big, you're a hard person to get down. But he's one of them guys who's ridiculously jacked, and he's got all these muscles, and he's like, after a few takedown attempts, he might get gassed out, and I think that's what might happen. I think I do pick Muhammad in this one, but I do think it's a really good fight, a really good matchup, and I'm happy that they've rebooked it, because it could go either way.
Absolutely. I think definitely on the feet, Good's got the advantage. I think he's a better striker. I think he hits harder. But I can't see a way this fight goes where Muhammad doesn't just search for the takedown. I can't see a fight where he doesn't just aggressively attack the takedown. So yeah, I don't like Good's chances in this matchup. I'm 100% taking Muhammad.
Interesting. It's a good fight. I am looking forward to that one, just because I like the ones where they're just toss ups. Like I know you're picking big on Muhammad, but I'm not sure on that. Like, and I like Lyman Good. I was just watching clips of him before, and he's just such a big guy, and he's just huge, and like, they're intimidating, them type of guys. So in to see how he bounces back from being sick, and interested to see how this fight works out.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he had coronavirus, so that's news to me. But anyway.
Yeah, he was like the first guy to get it, and like, they took him off UFC 249, he's back on. So that for me is the main story about this one, like, because they're meant to be so careful, and if he's, I don't know how it works. So it's just interesting. Like, I'm sure, like, people are just, because he's had it, you get people just looking at him and think I'm not coming near you today. So it's just it's just interesting little subplot to that one.
Absolutely. And the fight opening the card will be Jim Miller, the veteran, versus Roosevelt Roberts, coming off that victory from 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, where he submitted. I'm blanking. Who did he submit?
Brock Weaver. And
Brock Weaver. That was the one. And beautiful rear naked choke. That was a pretty good performance by him. Almost flawless, I'd say. He wasn't in danger at all. He got him to the ground and submitted him. I think this is the biggest test for him. I honestly think this is a big test for him. I know he's a huge favourite. I know he's the favourite on this one. I don't know. I think people are sleeping a bit on Jim Miller. You know, like Jim Miller's no chump. He's got the skills. He's obviously a bit further on in his career, I suppose. Yeah, I think it's a good test. We'll get to see where Roberts belongs in this division if he can stand with the best of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a true test. It's especially coming off another great performance, because I weren't really too high on Roberts heading into that fight, but just watching him against Weaver, he just played them, dominated them, did whatever he wants. He's like a bit of a physical specimen. He's really tall for the division and things like that. I think this is a catch rate bout, which probably helps him after having probably a tough cut against Weaver. So I am picking him. I do pick him quite big, but it's Jim Miller's such a dog. He's going to give you, if you're not ready and you're not prepared to go 3 rounds at a terrific pace, then he's going to get you. So he's got to be prepared for that, Roberts. You can't just think he's just going to walk over someone like Jim Miller. You've got to be ready to take him out. It's not it's basically an acid test. It proves like how, if Roberts is going to be the next big thing, or if he's got things to work on. So it's exciting, and it's just the perfect matchup for someone like Roberts, who's got a bit of hype right now after a good win. Take another big name. He's cracked it. Then he can go and get a good fight after that. So yeah, but Jim Miller's, he's not going to lie down for anyone. I think he might have the most fights in UFC history, or he's definitely got one of the most fights. He's an absolute beast, and he might be getting on a bit, but he's still not easy for anyone.
For sure. I think he's actually tying the most fights when he walks in the cage. I think he will be tied for the most fights in the UFC with Don Cerrone, I think, right? That's who has that?
Yeah, and the stuff that goes into that, as we were saying the other week with Chase Hooper and Alex Caceres, when you've got all these fights, you're having 20 odd fights because you're a really good fighter at this level. So these newcomers, they need to realize that the guys like Jim Miller and Alex Caceres, they're there, and they've been there for so long because they're so good. And they might be getting old, they might not have the best records, but they're very talented people, and they shouldn't be overlooked. So don't be surprised if Roberts is a big favourite. Miller might be worth a few quid. So if you want to get betting on it,
absolutely, that's what I was going to say. This would be my underdog of the night if Miller comes out and gets the win here. But the problem I see for Roberts in this one is if he wins, or if he loses, that's it. He's back to the end of the line. He has to start working his way back up. Needs a couple of wins. If he wins, they'll probably give him a ranked guy, and those ranked guys are a big. Jim Miller's a step up now, but all the ranked guys are a bit of a step up above Jim Miller. So he's gonna be thrown with the dogs if he wins this one. Obviously, there's probably names like Gregor Gillespie's in there. Anthony Pettis is probably around there now. Drew Dober's 15, I believe. There's a lot of really, really talented guys that are just in the 10 to 15 in that division. So if he does win this one, he better be ready for the next step above that, because there's no time to get good after you win this. He's going to be thrown straight into the thick of it. But hopefully he does well. Hopefully this is where he belongs, and we'll definitely get to see that in this matchup.
Even the guys just outside the top 15, there's a load of beasts, and there's just, he's not going to just stroll in there. He's going to have to take out a few more guys before he gets in there, because just below top 15, there's quite a few guys who are nipping and trying to get in there, and Dober's just got in there, and he's been on a tear. So it's going to be tough, and he's young, and it's just a good name to have on your record. Jim Miller, he's a veteran of the sport. Everyone knows what he's about. So to get him on your record after such a good win against Brock Weaver, a showcase win, to follow it up quickly with another big name, it's perfect for Roberts. 2020's been tough for a lot of people, but if he gets that win, it's a good year for him. And Miller's just one of them. He's fought better people than Roberts. And I'm sure he's confident of getting the win. So that, we speaking about Emmett Burgos fight tonight, that could work out as well. Jim Miller's he's an exciting guy as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if this turned out to be a bit of a war.
Absolutely. And obviously, I didn't look into the prelims too much because I didn't plan on breaking any down. But I know there's a few you want to touch on, so I'll hand it over to you and let us know which ones in the prelims you're interested in.
Well, just as the first thing I want to mention is just obviously in the last few episodes, I've kind of pointed out the women's fights are a bit high up on the card. But to this time, we've got it opposite because we've got Roxanne Modafferi against Lauren Murphy, and that's like second fight of the night. Modafferi's coming off a big win. She beat Macy Barber, so she's a top contender, and she should be towards the top of this card. She's got a little fan base. She's got her own style. She's an exciting fighter to watch. So, just want to point out that she's on the card, and she's someone to watch because that as dead as we've called that division because Shevchenko rules it. At the minute, we're getting a load of these flyweight women's fights, and we're seeing people emerge with like little performances, and you're catching your eye. We had Chikugian, she had a big win, and Calvillo last time she had a big win. So Modafferi's another one to watch out for her with that title, and see how far she can go.
Absolutely, and I mean that big win over Macy Barber really just. I think it won her a lot of new fans, a lot of people that might not have known who she was. I mean, she's been in the UFC for a little while now, so but a lot of people wouldn't have been as exposed to her as they are now because Macy Barber went into that fight a big favourite. Everyone thought Macy Barber was going to run through Modafferi, but she just showed that she's a step above Barber at the moment. And I'm actually quite interested to see how she does in this one. Obviously, her opponent's ranked 7, she's ranked 6. But yeah, I haven't really looked at this fight too much, so I wouldn't be able to talk about how the matchup goes. But I'm excited to see her in the cage again.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, shine some light on her because she is coming off a big win and she's at the bottom of the card again. So, it's not all, glory for these fighters. Like she's still got her work to do. But if she gets a win here, she's got 2 big ones in a row, and in that division, it doesn't take a lot to become the next in line. I know JoJo's got her shot first, but this win and another win, and she's in another title shot. So yeah, I just wanted to shine some light on her because she's a veteran of the game, and she's earned a spot at least on the main card in my opinion. And yeah, I think having her that far down the card is probably a bit out of order, but it happens
for sure.
Like the lineups of these cards, I'm always perplexed by, but I'm sure the UFC have got their methods to maximize viewers or whatever they're doing.
Absolutely, and so. I think there's other big names on the card. I'm reading here. So, we got Clay Guida, obviously a veteran, fighting in the feature prelim against Bobby Green. I haven't really looked into this matchup itself, but keen to see Guida fight again. It's been a little while since he was in the cage last. I can't remember who it was against, but it wasn't too long ago. Did you look into this fight at all? Because I know you spoke about it.
It's one that pops out just because of the names. Like I think I always enjoy watching Bobby Green fight. I always think he's in quite exciting fights. And then obviously Guida, he used to be in exciting fights, and this time he's just more of a wrestler, and I expect that's what he's going to do. He's just relentless with that wrestling, and I expect him to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot until he gets it, and that's how I think he's going to win. But like last time he fought, I think he lost to Jim Miller, didn't he? He got caught
That's
really
right.
quick. So, and then his last win was BJ Penn, and how much can you take from that? So Guida's one of them who's always interesting to see just because he is a veteran, and how long he's been around. But obviously his best days are behind him, and Bobby Green will want to be taking him out off the back of a couple of losses. So that's just one of them. It's 2 big names. It's a really good fight. It could be a really exciting fight. It could be a dud. You never know. But it's always interesting with Clay Guida.
For sure. And I guess we'll wrap up the card there and move on to some fight announcements. Some exciting fight announcements. The more exciting parts. The big one I can think of off the top of my head was Yoel Romero versus Uriah Hall. That got announced recently for August 15th from memory. I don't know. But it got announced for sometime soon. And that matchup itself, I think that's fireworks, that matchup. I think it's going to be fantastic. Obviously, the problem with Stylebender versus Romero is Stylebender wouldn't come forward, Romero wouldn't come forward, Neither of them they were both looking for the counter, that neither one would break and come forward. So I think with Hall, he's going to come forward. He's going to throw. I think we'll see the best Romero. To be honest, if I'm picking the fight, I don't like Hall's chances against Romero. We haven't seen Romero finished in a long time. When Romero does lose, it's either by a really close decision or it's by in the Israel fight where he didn't do anything. I think stylistically he's the stronger fighter. He just hits harder. He's got the wrestling base if he wants to use it, which he won't, and I can tell you that now. But I think he'll find a counter, and I think he'll get the win. What do you think about that bout?
I do like it. It's obviously a good fight, and Hall's exciting. He's always got his chance, but I think at this level he just seems to get ran over. Like I don't envision him being like him winning this fight. I think he got that one win against Mousasi, and Mousasi got him in the rematch. So he's always got his chance. He's got his puncher's chance, or his kicker's chance, or whatever you want to call it. But he's always got a chance because he is so explosive. His best bet is probably to do what Izzy did and stay out the way, and make it not an exciting fight, and don't engage, and
don't say that. We don't want that again.
I know that's probably the way to beat Romero, by just keeping him on the end and outpointing him. But do I think Hall's going to do that? I think he's going to be looking for stuff, and he's going to get he's going to get caught, and he'll be intimidated by someone like Romero. It's a massive step up, and I think every time Hall's kind of stepped up to this level, he has been rolled over. So I'm expecting the same again. Vintage Romero. It's a good matchup for him to come back to after a loss. I think they haven't threw him straight to the dog straight away. I think that's a very, very winnable fight for him. And for Hall, he's got a chance. If he can take out someone like Romero, who's renowned for having such a tough chin, he's cracked it as well. Then it's one more fight, and he might get a title shot. So he's got to take the chance. But do I think he'll win? No.
Yeah, I agree. Good fight, though. I'm looking forward to that one. And I have two more fights, and they're both in the heavyweight division. The first one was, I don't know the date it's for, but it was Junior Dos Santos versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik, which I think is a great fight. Both of them are technical strikers, both of them good strikers. Yeah, I'll let you break it down first.
Yeah, it was it. That's the fight Rozenstruik needs. I think after his loss we were speaking, he kind of went from Overeem to Ngannou, and that's a big jump. He's only 10 fights into his career. So this is the perfect level. A past peak Junior Dos Santos is still dangerous, but it's kind of, a good step to see where he is. Another, you need to be beating these guys now. Like, if you're a guy who's, just coming and making a name for yourself, all these legends, you need to be knocking off. There's a lot of them in the heavyweight division, but they're not going to give you an easy night, and he needs to be on his game. But it's interesting to see how he comes back, because that was such a vicious knockout, and people were hyping him going into that fight, and he had all this hype, and then he just got starched. And Junior will know, but at least he went out a bit differently, but to Ngannou. So very, very good fight, perfect fight, I think, for Rozenstruik to come back to.
Yeah, it's a fantastic fight, but I do favour Dos Santos in this. I think he's the more technical striker, and also taking what I can from the Overeem loss, Overeem victory that Rozenstruik had, where he finished him 10 seconds before the bell. My opinion is that to beat someone like JDS, he's going to have to be perfect for 25 minutes, unless he can get him out of there. But I don't think he can get JDS out of there. It could happen. Don't quote me, could happen. But I think the likely thing that's going to happen is they're going to go the full 25, or JDS is going to just wear him down and finish him. But yeah, if he can't get him out of there, he has to be perfect for 25 minutes. And we saw in the Overeem fight that he couldn't do that. He wasn't fantastic. He looked alright. He didn't look terrible. He obviously didn't take a lot of damage. And then he eventually found that big shot right next to the bell. So yeah, I think it'll be a good fight. I mean, neither guy's going to try and take the other down. It's not going to be a wrestling match. It's definitely going to be a striking battle. But I'm favouring JDS in this.
Yeah, in fairness to Rozenstruik, Overeem, 2020 Overeem, he's a nightmare to fight. He's just so awkward and defensive and things like that. So JDS will present opportunities, because he's going to be trying to do his own thing. He likes an uppercut, and that leaves you open. So and if Blaydes can knock him out, I'm sure Rozenstruik, he's thinking, obviously I can knock him out as well, because I'm a much better striker. So I think it's one he needs to win. Similar to Romero, he needs to be winning that. I think Rozenstruik needs to be winning this. It's just I kind of do expect him to as well, but JDS he's no mug, is he? So if Rozenstruik isn't at that level, he'll get found out, and he'll get found out again. So excited for that one. Good fight.
And the last one I want to touch on is another heavyweight fight. Although I don't think this one's going to be fireworks, I think this could be quite a boring fight. I don't know, but I'm thinking it'll be a boring fight. And that's between Derek Lewis and Alexei Olenek. Because I know there's one way to beat Derek Lewis, and DC showed us. You take him down, you choke him out. And what's Olenek good at? Taking guys down, choking them out. So I think that's what we're going to see here. Oleg's going to come in wrestling heavy and try and get him down. If he can't, he's going to get finished on the feet. But who knows? What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good fight. It's one of them with heavyweights. You never know. It could be fireworks. It could be absolute dud. So you've got to, be thinking about that. I was picking Verdun big time against Olenek last time, and Olenek looked good, but Verdun looked terrible. And it's just how good does Derek Lewis look? Because Olenek, he's got his base level and he does what he does, but he's not elite level. He's not one of the best in the world. So. It's just one of them. He might crack him and knock him out, and everyone's back on the Derek Lewis train, or he might stink the gaff out and Olenek might get a win. So, not particularly excited that it's a night. Like, obviously, everyone likes Derek Lewis. He's a funny guy and that, but I'm not someone who loves to watch him fight. I think there's other fights listed about Calvin Tarr against Dan Ige. I think that's a really exciting fight, and that's one I was wanting to bring up just because
we can talk about it.
It's a headline event, which I'm pretty surprised to see them getting the headline. But two up and comers, hungry. Calvin Kattar, I'm big on him at the minute. Like, I think his finish of Jeremy Stevens was so crisp, it was lovely. And Eag's just a dog, isn't he? He's got 6 wins on the bounce, whether you like it or not. He beat Edson Barboza, and he took all the grief from him. So great fight. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, I'm keen for that one too. I think it'll be a bit of a scrap, and I do favour Qatar in this one. But obviously, I thought Barboza would have Ige. I thought that was going to be quite an easy fight, and Ige put up a perfect fight. Obviously it was close, and I had it for Barboza, but fantastic fight between the two. Yeah, I'd definitely take Qatar in this one, but I'm very looking forward to seeing how it goes down.
Yeah, because you think I was taking Barboza against Egan, and he stood up to everything, and it just doesn't seem like he's a guy who's going to go away, and you're not going to be able to one-punch knock out him. So, you've got to be good for 25 minutes in this one. Qatar's going to be good for, and as we've seen, Qatar, he's quite a slow starter, and he can get hit, and Stevens was rattling him off, but he's got a good chin as well. So I think it's just going to be an absolute war, and they're just both going to just knock fucking shit out of each other, basically. And it's just going to be it's just going to be, another Dan Hooker, Paul Felder type situation. I think we might get something like that, which is exciting.
Yeah, hopefully. That's the goal, because that was a great fight. With that, I suppose we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll speak to you on Monday to recap the event.
See you guys.